a motion for adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Pietrangelo, seconded by Councillor Morocco. Yes, we've got discussion. Councillor Wing and Thompson.
Just an addition, under new business, it wasn't just parking in Chippewa, but also there was a request for passive recreational facilities on the south bank of the Welland River there. And I don't know, it may be a jurisdictional thing where it's the Niagara Parks Commission that has it, but if the report can just address that even, would be appreciated.
Okay, you got that, Mr. Clerk? Okay. Pardon me, yes, Mr. Clerk?
I believe that actually, and Mr. Dren can confirm this, I think the parking aspect of this has already been resolved. Is that correct, Carl?
The sign changes will happen.
Yep, Councillor.
Is that going to include the 2 hours free on the side streets? Because I know they were looking for both a 5 p.m. end of metering instead of 6 p.m. and they were also looking for free parking on the side streets for 2 hours. I just want to make sure.
Mr. Dren?
The free parking aspect is not complete yet. We're doing a review of that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Thompson?
Yes, at the end of the agenda, the motion with respect to the Walker Family Cancer Center. I put up my hand and was happy to do so, in spite of the fact I'm not happy where the hospital is. I'm not happy about most of the situation related to that, but having a cancer facility in the Niagara region is certainly a tremendous asset, and I was happy with that until during the week I found out that in spite of it being there, the treatment of cancer may be at least 2 years away in some cases before they will able to start. And I inquired about it, and I understand that the equipment in Hamilton is very expensive. It hasn't been duplicated here, and it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years before that may even happen. So I think that that's something that the public should be aware of. I talked to a co-worker who is going back and forth for 39 days for a particular treatment of cancer, and I said, boy, it must be nice that you're not driving to Hamilton, you're just going back and forth to St. Catharines. He said, no, and he said, it won't be for a couple of years. Dollars, when it comes to health care, gives me a great deal of concern. We are elated that that's there. Not having the opportunity to utilize it and having the public back and forth every day for treatment to Hamilton, I think is unfortunate. And I think that that's something that we should know about, the public should know about it, and I would like to have a report back just indicating where this stands, because we were also elated with the cardiac unit, with the cancer unit, and in spite of that, these people still have to endure the travel back and forth, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen soon. So I'd like to have a report back clarifying what's going on and what the public can expect.
Okay, so we'll get a request out to the, I'm guessing to the NHS.
There's a motion for the minutes if you want to deal with that after.
Okay, so first approve the minutes. Okay, okay, then we'll approve. We'll go for the motion to approve the minutes as amended. All those in favor? Okay, and then now we've got a motion by Councillor Thompson asking for us to get a report back on the status of the cancer hospital, second by Councillor Iannone, and we can go right to the NHS and find out what the status is. And ironically, the acting CAO of the NHS is dealing with their own cancer treatments right now too, so I'm sure she'll be very tuned into the issue. Okay, so we'll call that vote. All those in favor? Okay, that's approved unanimously. Any other issues, I guess? So we've approved now the minutes. Next up is disclosures of pecuniary interest. Councillor Iannone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Check 363512 to myself and 363 363658 to a member of my family.
Okay, thank you. Any other disclosures? And I have a check myself, check number 363491, made out to myself as well. Okay, no other disclosures? Okay, we'll move on to our reports. And we've got reports of a legal nature. And I would ask Mr. Beeman to start off with L 2013-21.
Councilors, this is a small piece of land in the Chippewa area, just on front of Line Creek, part of it, it's a little triangle of land that was originally intended for a reconfiguration of the road, but it's not now going to take place. So the city has no longer use for it. Maybe the property owner is interested in buying it, or we haven't come to an agreement on price. I suggest that we declare the road, that piece of land surplus at this time, and proceed with the issue.
Okay, moved by Councillor Thompson. Councillor Morocco, seconded. Okay, is there any discussion to the motion on the floor? Okay, then we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, that's approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Beeman. And then next up, we've got L 2013-24.
This item relates to the closed portion of Grassy Brook Drive and down near the Grand Niagara Golf Course. The Grand Niagara Golf Course contacted this development with some issues concerning problems they were having with, in particular, the GPS system. Identified Grassy Brook Drive as the way to the golf course. So people were coming down Grassy Brook Drive, which is closed. We have barriers and crosses there, and they were having trouble getting to the golf course. So they've asked us if those barriers can be opened. There are still, the recommendation is based on the idea that this would be a temporary situation because as development continues, Grand Niagara's big plans for subdivision and so on down here. So the traffic patterns might not be such that council wants to allow traffic on Grassy Brook Drive. So one is we're giving a temporary license over the closed portion of the road, which we still control, in order to alleviate the problems we're currently having with the GPS navigation and so on.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Beeman. We're looking for a motion to approve the recommendation. Councillor Morocco?
Motion to approve it.
Okay, we got a motion by Councillor Morocco, second by Councillor Pietrangelo. Is there any discussion to the motion? If not, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, bless you, and that's approved unanimously. Thank you very much. And moving on to report F 2013-24, and I'd ask Mr. Harrison if he would do the library update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During the budget deliberations, municipal staff recommended a series of reductions from the original budget estimates. If you recall, there was a reduction to the amount that was originally requested from the library. The library board initiated some action that reduced hours of operation on Sundays at McBain, which was a seasonal program, as well as opened 1 hour later at the Victoria Avenue branch. Council had asked us as staff to go back and overview the steps that were taken by the library board, and the report outlines those steps were taken. In discussions with the chief librarian, the CIO, and I decided that we'll again look over the operations and come back prior to the beginning of the 2014 budget deliberations this fall with any other types of recommendations. The closing at the McBain Center was due, it was a seasonal program, so when the decision was to reduce it, there's only a couple of weeks left in the actual seasonality. It's closed during the summer, but it's likely to be reopened in the fall, and hopefully we'll have a report back before that decision's made. So if there's any questions.
Do you have any questions or comments of our finance? Pardon me? Yes, the sign. Mr. Harrison, can you update us on the sign that was put up in air?
I spoke with the chief librarian, and she indicated that the sign's been taken down now.
Okay, that's good.
Originally it was taken down, and then it was put back up, and then it was taken down again. So certainly it was a communication mix-up, and it's down now.
Okay, that's good. Councillor Pietrangelo.
Your Worship, a question, I guess, through you to Mr. Harrison.
At the very top of page 3, the very first paragraph says, in fact, the board's decision to reduce hours was based on the fact that the Sunday service hours was a seasonal issue and underutilized. Does this come from our staff or does this come from the library board?
The report is reporting on our discussions with the chief librarian, and that information, that information was provided to the CAO and I reported it in the report.
I guess the reason that I asked the question is because with the notice that was given out by the library board, that would be different than the notice. I mean, if we're saying in a report that the reason that they made the reduction was because Sunday service hours was seasonal and underutilized, and they're saying, no, it was council who cut our funding, that's why we reduced the hours. There's a difference of opinions, that's why I'm asking who gave this in fact.
Well, the decision to, when their original request at full amount was not agreed to, and we, as a staff, recommended a reduction to be more in line with municipal spending. The reduction was $77,000. There was still an increase year over year of about 2.3%. The decision was the board's decision to operate and make decisions that they're on their operation. That's entrusted in the Libraries Act, the Ontario Libraries Act, Public Libraries Act, and they made the decision to reduce the hours in light of the fact that the grant that municipality was providing wasn't at the level that they had originally requested. So the wording of the notice didn't portray the information quite correctly, and it was a miscommunication error. We've talked with the chief librarian, and certainly that those notes have been taken down.
Any other comments to the report? Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, well, I guess we're just going to receive and file it at this point. I think I made the motion to request the report. In all fairness, that's not the report I was looking for. I was looking for a really in-depth examination of the finances, the reserves, the method of operation. I am patient and will wait until the report comes back the start of 2014. Other than that, I was disappointed with the way the whole matter was handled. You know, in spite of the fact that the library received an increase of 2-point-something%, they had a sign in the front that the library hours were cut back because of council's decision. No other agency got an increase. The library was unique. I think that demonstrates this council's support and the necessity for good library service in the community. So I'll be patient and wait until the full report comes back, but this is what is not what I was interested in.
And I think Mr. Harrison's aware of that. That's why I think in his financial review of the operations that he's going to do, it'll be more in depth. But yeah, there's no question it was disappointing that they would make us be the fall guy for a reduction in hours when they got more money than any other group for an increase. But I'm glad to see that that's been cleared up here, I think, and we'll get more detail of the breadth of their financial situation with that financial review.
Certainly.
Yeah,
that's the intention, is to give us enough time to go over everything with the library staff and bring back a report that's meaningful for council to consider for the next budget cycle.
Okay, great. Councillor Carrier.
Thank you, Your Worship. Along with Councillor Thompson, I was thinking there'd be more to it. There was another option that I thought that we'd be looking at as well. So I'm wondering if that may come with a recommendation. I thought that we were going to look at something else as well as just looking at a financial review. I thought there was going to be some recommendations that we look at options as well.
You will have.
Yeah. So I think
Certainly when we look at the review, we'll take a look at any of the options that are available to council.
Don't go squeamish on us now.
No, I'm not finished. We're going to be coming back with a report that looks at all the options for the library operations and let council make a call.
Okay.
Okay, so there's, we're looking for a motion to approve the recommendation that staff come back with a performance financial review of operations. Moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Morocco. All those in favor? Okay, and that's approved unanimously. Okay, what we're going to do, since the public meeting begins at 7 as it's been advertised, and we're a little bit ahead of schedule, I'm just going to jump into the rest of the meeting, starting with the mayor's remarks. It's actually quite brief, but Councillor Thompson, he gets so excited when I do this part. He sits back. He's so cute.
I have not heard that.
No?
No.
Well, you heard it tonight.
No, not. I heard that.
Okay, some special announcements. Councillor Iannoni, congratulations on your recent college graduation. Councillor stuck to it. Good job, Councillor. Also, congratulations to Colin Seymour, a longtime maintenance employee at the City of Niagara Falls, on his retirement. And we went and saw him. It was when they presented him with a golden plunger and a number of other things. What a character. You could tell he's really going to be missed. He's a lot of fun. And everyone had a lot of fun at his retirement as well. Councillor Wing had her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Councillor Wing, 29. So we'll move forward on what happened. Beijing Urban Construction Road and Bridge Group delegation from China were in town, and that was attended by myself and Councillor Carrio. We welcome them into the municipality. The 40 and 8 annual pilgrimage at the Cenotaph at the bottom of Clifton Hill took place this past weekend. I had a very difficult day on Victoria Day, Monday. I had to come in and shave and put on a suit and everything to address 60 Miss Universe contestants. It was one of the tough parts of the job, like Councillor Thompson was all about. So anyway, I was there, and it was a lot of fun, actually. They're a good group of ladies from all across the country.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, it was fun. It was right at the fall. I brought my daughters with me, too. I don't want anybody questioning anything. I had good intentions. That's exactly right. Respect for Law awards took place at Optimist Park this past week. Mr. Felicetti, head of economic development, and myself went to Ottawa this past week to address the Senate on Bill C-290. We were joined by the Chamber of Commerce of Windsor, the Canadian Gaming Association, and of course the Niagara Falls Chamber of Commerce, as we addressed them on the importance of single sport betting and how $14 billion a year is leaving Canada to either illegal sites, offshore sites, or some other groups, and we're not getting any advantage. And yet when you go to places like Las Vegas, you see how many people show up for Super Bowl and all these Final Four and all these big events, and it's not just one game. They come and stay for the weekend. And and it's funny, we went there to meet with the senators, and it had to take the flight on the way home. I'm sitting next to Art Eggleton, former mayor of Toronto for 11 years, and MP, and now a senator, and another Senator Smith as well. So we're working on these guys, trying to get them on board to see the benefit to the jurisdiction and how important it is to a place like Niagara Falls and a place like Windsor on the border. So we had a lot of success, and as you know, the Senate has their own issues right now, and there's a lot of, especially you think it's bad here. What part? Well, they just said get off your duff. I don't know what they meant by that, but and then of course when you go to Ottawa, everything's amplified it to the 10th power. So their papers were covered pages of what it's unbelievable. But anyway, we were there during an interesting time. Let's just say. Yes, Councillor Gates.
I hate to jump into your reports, but what's interesting about that particular bill, because how important it is for Windsor Casino, is that they have massive layoffs in Windsor. And I know that there's a lot of other people, not just the mayor, supporting it, and what it could do for Niagara Falls, because our revenues are going down as well. But what's interesting about that particular bill, it has unanimously support by the Conservatives, by the Liberals, and by the NDP in the House, yet the Senate is holding up the bill who are unelected. And that's another reason why I think it'd be a good idea to maybe take a serious look at abolishing the Senate, because here, unelected people are dictating to elected people on how this country should be run. I think that's a huge issue for us as well.
No doubt. They've been to abolish.
What's that?
Well, I think that's what the feds are trying to do right now. They've been holding this bill up for 14 months. And the interesting part, even the senators we spoke with, they thought that when the federal government prorogues that the bill dies. We found out it does not die. It continues on because it's a private member's bill. It's not a government bill. So I was surprised to find out not one senator I spoke with knew that. They were all under the impression it would die in the next month. We said, no, it continues right on. So it gives us a lot more opportunity to bring it forward and bring more pressure to the government. So, and we were addressed in the Senate, introduced in the Senate, and including our friend that we met in Richmond Hill, Councillor Morocco, the Chinese senator, the new Chinese senator from Senator O from Ontario. So, so that was good. Lions Club had their Prino Walk for Guide Dogs at Lions Park in Chippewa this weekend, as well as the ALS walk to raise attention and funds for Lou Gehrig's disease. And we'd like to thank the following council members for attending events in our community that represent the city, including starting off with Councillor Peter Angelo, who's at the Chamber of Commerce Business After 5 at Hamburg Honda, and the annual Ride of Silence. As well, Councillor Gates handled the Amway India Meet and Greet. Appreciate Council covering for us for that. What's coming up? FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference, is in... yeah, did I miss that? Oh, I'm sorry. That was right under Bill C-290. No, I've got it in my notes. I do. I'm sorry. I missed that.
I know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he was also, yes, that's right. Well, we'll bring that up too. The Chippewa Dock dedication, Jay Mason and his group, and we were joined by Councillor Thompson and Councillor Gates as we dedicated the new dock on the north side of the Chippewa Creek leading up to Tim Hortons. And it was a great day. It was cold. And it was really great. Anytime that Councillor Thompson shows us the picture of him in his Speedo, it's a great day. So, yeah, a lot of people didn't realize.
It was spectacular. They did a great job.
They did. It was well done. And we're told that sometimes late at night, Councillor Thompson goes on the Wakeman Bridge in his leopard skin Speedo and says, "I'm the king of the world." And yeah. So we'll have to go there one night when you do that to let us know. Back to what's new. FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference, is taking place in Vancouver. Next year, we're lucky enough to host it in Niagara Falls. So this year from the City of Niagara Falls, myself and Councillor Iannoni will be attending and bringing the torch back to Niagara Falls. The Snowbirds show over Niagara Falls will take place this Wednesday at 6. Huge event as they fly right over the falls. Bring your cameras. It's going to be just an amazing spectacle to see. And there's discussion. This could turn out to be a yearly event. So be sure to be there. I was in Montreal at Mount Royal when I was just coming out of building and they were doing a flyover. And what a feeling as they screech right past you. It's just incredible. It's going to be at 6 p.m. So that'll be tomorrow night. So everyone should get down to the Niagara Parks. You'll be able to see it from anywhere along the parks. Obviously Table Rock or up top. One of the hotels, you'll get a great vantage point, or at the top of the incline railway. But you want to see this great opportunity to watch the Snowbirds, and it won't take too long. One last thing, two last things. Walk for Lupus takes place June the 1st at Oaks Park at 12 noon. Springalicious is downtown Queen Street this weekend. I see they're setting up rides already. There'll be craft brewery set up. David Wilcox is going to be playing. It's going to be a lot of entertainment, and the weather's supposed to be hot. Perfect beverage consuming kind of weather. Friday, May the 31st through June the 2nd. And lastly, also during Springalicious, our Mayor's Youth Advisory is going to be doing School-a-Palooza, which will be happening during that event on the street as well. So that ends the Mayor's announcements and remarks. That's it? It was nice. See? Yes. Oh, what did I miss? Councillor Carey.
The Premier's announcement on the funding, I thought maybe you might do that.
Oh, yeah.
Remarks, and then Your Worship, I was going to say for new business, but if you do that, that we should officially not only thank yourself, started with Wayne Thompson when he was the mayor, and all the other mayors for pushing very diligently to get this agreement changed. And obviously you had some great success, and obviously you'll speak about it and tell the citizens on what's going to happen, but we should officially thank the Premier for actually taking the action on our behalf to help us with our funding model. I think it's...
Yeah, well said. There's no doubt without the support. Yes, Councillor Morocco.
And also I represented you in Markham at the Wuxi China Chamber of Commerce event.
What was that called again?
Wuxi China.
Wuxi.
Shishi. I'm starting now to learn Mandarin, so it seems to be, but anyway, they had a number of dignitaries. Minister Michael Chan was there, and dignitaries, and they did the signing, so the sisters, and actually sent back a memo to give to you as that they would like to invite you to come to their city and visit one time, so I'm passing on the invitation.
And what was that called again? It was called?
Wuxi.
Wuxi. Okay, thank you for that. All right, thank you for that, Councillor. And I apologize when we do overlook, but please help me to acknowledge that we're trying to do a better job at tracking this, because it takes time out of your busy schedules, and we do appreciate it. And we handed one out tonight too, and I hope you can all fill them out before you leave tonight, just to help our staff here track people down, because the events, they're really thrilled and impressed when someone from council shows up at their events. It really means a lot to them. So, and I got to say, kudos to you, Councillor Pietrangelo. You've signed up for almost every one of them. That was just incredible.
I don't want to take it away from other people.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Even though it looked like Councillor Kerry was writing, but I appreciate you doing that. Yes, the Premier's funding announcement, and not just the Premier, but Minister Sousa, as well, and obviously MPP Crater for all being involved in this. But I have to say too, our CAO, Ken Todd, and Serge Felicetti, I can't tell you how many meetings took place with OLG in Toronto, down here, Minister of Finance. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing. And I think in the best thing ever, really, in a way, is Rob Ford helped us, because he drew so much attention to their casino and made so much noise that it forced Premier Wynne to step up and say, and we said, we were real clear, no sweetheart deals. No sweetheart deals. And the other strategy, we did not fight Toronto. We realized they're having a civil war. We just stayed out of it. And we just said, just make sure that we're whole. That's all. That was our strategy. Make sure that we're whole. And it paid off in the end, because it wasn't us versus them. It was them versus them. And in the end, they didn't get a casino, and we've got increased funding. And obviously, a lot of credit. We've been pushing for many terms of council before I got here, and luckily we were able to get this done. And we've always had a good relationship with OLG. We never attacked them. We always made it clear what we wanted, rather than what we didn't want anyone else to have. We talked about what we wanted and how to make us whole. So it turned out great. There'll be an extra significant amount of money coming into our community. Obviously, it's based on revenues, which we know will lower as the new casinos start to open around the province. But in the short term, it's going to definitely be a huge boon for the community. And if we play our cards right, we can have this benefit us for many, many years. As long as we market ourselves and position ourselves in the market to take advantage and be prepared, including a theater for our community, and be prepared for what's going to happen south of the border and somewhere else north of the border. We know they're coming. So we appreciate you bringing that forward. Councillor Carey?
Just one other thing, I don't feel quite so bad now when my mother goes down to the casino and plays the slots, because we get some of that money back.
Exactly right. As long as she's losing, we make money. If she's winning, we're not. So that updates us on the latest on the casino report, the OLG report. And we're still waiting for final details. We've been in regular contact with them. There's a lot of details to hammer out, but our Director of Finance, Mr. Harrison, is working closely with the OLG, and we'll have, in the coming meetings, we'll have all the final details to Council. Councillor Thompson?
Yes, I would move 1, 2, and 3, if you could read the headlines.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Iannone. Oh, read the headlines. We've got 3 communications. First up, a letter from the Minister responsible for seniors asking that the month of June be proclaimed Seniors Month, and that June 15th be recognized as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day in the City of Niagara Falls. Secondly, the Regional Municipality of Niagara has the terms of reference for our agreement between hosting the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference in Niagara Falls. And lastly, the Niagara Association of Realtors sends a correspondence regarding municipal land transfer, and that would be just for information. And are there any additional items, Mr. Clerk?
Well, why don't you take that motion?
Okay, so we'll take the vote. All those in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay, and that's passed unanimously. And Mr. Clerk, any additional items?
Yeah, one communication, just due to timeliness, I felt it was appropriate to bring it tonight. The Filipino-Canadian Association is requesting a flag raising on June 12th for Philippines Independence Day.
Okay, June 12th, moved by Councillor Pietrangelo, seconded by Councillor Gates. All those in favor? And I'm guessing we're going to need somebody there that day, so I should be back by then, but we'll see. Thank you for that, Mr. Clerk. Ratification of in-camera matters.
Yes, Your Worship, one item regarding Part 1 on Reference Plan 59R13639. This is a parcel of property located Montrose Road, Kinsman Court area, and that council accept the offer to purchase at the revised price of $700,000 plus HST, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute all necessary documentation.
Okay, thank you. Need a motion to accept that. Moved by Councillor Pietrangelo, second by Councillor Gates. All those in favor? Okay, and that's unanimous. And moving on to reports, the consent agenda. Moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Carrier. Did anyone want anything lifted? Councillor Gates?
Yeah, I'd like to lift MW 2013, 26, 27, and 28.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else? Okay, so we've got the motion to move the remainder of the consent agenda. All those in favor? Okay, and that's unanimous. And we'll start off with MW 2013-26, Kaler Road reconstruction. Councillor Gates.
Yeah, I had a talk with Mr. Harrison about 2 weeks ago. And on this particular project, I just happened, because I drive my daughter to school almost every day to St. Mike's, I drive by there. And the reason why that road has to be done is because of all the housing that's going in there, the big trucks that are going down there, that has really destroyed the road from the corner of Lundy's Lane all the way down. And I'm wondering why that would not be picked up by the developer. The second part of that is that it's nice to see that Alpha Dome is a local company that's getting the work, so that part of it's good. But I just trying to get a response, because I'd asked a question a couple weeks ago and I hadn't heard anything back. So maybe Mr. Harrison could maybe answer that, if at all possible.
Mr. Holman or
whoever wants to enlighten me.
The project is a number of different components to it that are not related to the construction trucks driving on the road. This is a major reconstruction of the road. The funding of it is, there is a development charge component to it, and that is the reason that the road work is being done. It's not something that's directly related to the construction companies that are working in the area.
So would it be our opinion that the trucks that are going down there, relatively big trucks, are not causing the damage to the road? Is that the opinion of the city?
The construction project itself is a series of work that has to be done that are unrelated to the trucks driving. Maybe Mr. Holman can provide a little bit better details.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Development charges that are allocated to this project are based on growth-related costs. So if the road needs to be widened as a result of capacity improvements, that's an eligible expense under our development charges bylaw. The condition of the road itself is the city's responsibility. Regardless if there is any development, we would always be responsible for the condition of the roadway. So the portion that's being funded from development charges is that component that's related to growth. So if we had a 2-lane road before, and because of our investigation, we determined we need to have a 4-lane road cross-section, those two additional lanes would be funded from DC.
Thanks very much. So how much of the cost is coming out of a development fees?
Sorry, I'll have to check our capital budget. On our capital budget sheet, it will show the percentage of cost that's allocated towards development.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Okay, so we're good on that one. So did you want to do the next one after that, Councillor?
You want to vote on that one first?
We can do all three at once.
Oh, okay.
So we got MW 2013-27 Edgewood Estate Subdivision.
Yes. This is, again, when I went through this report, I was kind of surprised that, and I may be wrong in how I'm reading this, but maybe somebody could help me, is about the fencing that's really should be paid by the developer. And it looks to me through the report, the developer doesn't want to pay it. Is that kind of relatively accurate on where we're at?
Mr. Holman?
it's not that the developer doesn't want to pay for it. We have letters of credit that will guarantee that this work gets done. We've just had some challenges with getting the contractor out there to complete the work. And I understand they have been doing this work. They started late last week. But I would like to proceed with the recommendation to make sure that the work gets completed in a timely manner. My discussions today with the contractor was that he would have the work completed within the next 2 weeks.
So the contractor's going to do it?
Contractor is going to do it. It's just a matter of scheduling that they've had some challenges with.
All right, thank you.
And also, I understand we had some challenges with some material being removed from the site.
Well, Mr. Mayor, you may recall there was a report late last year that talked about the need to establish this fence, and they've had some difficulties completing the work. And the contractors indicated that he's had some challenges with people moving materials and not wanting to proceed. However, the fence will go in, and we have his commitment for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to hold him to that.
Okay, that's good. On that one, Councillor? Yep. Councillor
Yeah, just
Pietrangelo?
on that point, Your Worship, I just wanted to make it clear that the developer is the one that's going to be paying for this fence based on the security that the city took, and kudos to our staff for collecting the securities beforehand, because, I mean, failing the developer putting the fence in, that's when they catch the securities and use those funds to pay for the fence, and that's what they're doing in this case.
Correct. Okay. And lastly, Councillor, we've got MW 2013-28 Warren Woods, Phase 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a little update. It looks to me like they're going to kind of downsize this particular development. I think that's kind of where they're heading. And I guess my only question on this is there a chance that maybe they'll come back later to do a higher density in this area?
Would we ask Mr. Hurlovich, or you want to address that one?
We've had no discussions with them that they would be changing the logging pattern that you see on the schedule. It's for them. It's they're actually phasing this for development. They've constructed their model homes in what they call their phase 2, stage 1. So the purpose is only to open that road for their model homes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to move MW 2013-26, 2013-27, and 2013-28. Moved by Councillor Pietrangelo, seconded by Councillor Maves. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, and those are unanimous. And this now brings us to new business. So we'll do new business, and then after at 7 we'll do our public meetings, and then we'll do our bylaws, and we'll be done. So new business, Councillor Thompson?
Yes, can we start with 9178 Tapestry? This is a situation I've been working on for a couple of weeks now, maybe longer than that. This is the neighboring property, which is at the corner that you see. I like the other one better. You got that other first one you showed? That's not bad. There's another one. Anyway, the house on the corner was built by a part-time contractor who just does building on the side. The house was built too high to the neighboring property, and as a result, when the new builders next door, the owners of the property, came to build their house, they noticed the house was substantially higher, and as a result, that's the one I like, substantially higher, and requested if they could change the elevation of their house when they built it. It was investigated, and came back that no, you have to stick with the original plan. So as a result, they built according to the original plan. This one was, as you can see, substantially higher. They've just poured the driveway in the last week or so, and created a very dangerous situation physically with somebody walking or somebody in the area there, but also all of the drainage from the property next door comes over, runs into the garage all winter long, of the neighboring property, causing them a considerable amount of problems and difficulty. Staff have been out there on numerous occasions. They finally come up with a solution that they would put some facing on that and try to redirect the drainage. However, that was a week or two ago. Now it was put on hold, and the people are very anxious to have something done to rectify something that I personally think is the city's responsibility, and we neglected to rectify this right from the start. Once that property was identified as being too high, there should have been some action to make sure that the people were not held to that same, even if they had to come up halfway, it would have reduced and it could have carried on down through the development, because this was the first one that was built at the top of the street. So what I would like to do is see if, and there has been an agreement on a plan that can face that and try to rectify the problem, and the people have been waiting patiently. If you imagine having that next door to your brand new property, you couldn't put a for sale sign on it. Who would buy that next door to that? So if it's necessary to bring a report back, I would so move, but I would hope the staff would move as quickly as possible to try to rectify a sad situation, which could be a safety hazard, and also the drainage problem that exists with the people that are living next door.
Okay, Mr. Hurlovich?
Yes, Your Worship. Planning, building, and municipal work staff have a meeting set up on that, and we will be reporting back if that's what the council would like, or dealing directly with the property owners.
Councillor Thompson, both of those, I suppose, to start with the owners and bring us a report
Well,
back?
they have been dealing with the owners, but they had a solution. They were good, and then they got an email and a comment saying everything was on hold, which made them extremely nervous after all the work that had been done. And I don't want to identify anybody in particular that was holding it up, but Mr. Hurlovich comes to mind. Anyway, let's get on and rectify a bad situation.
Okay, so we've got a motion from Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Morocco, that we have staff come back both with a report and to continue moving forward with the neighbors. So we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. More new business, Councillor?
Yes. I would like to, and because of my responsibility representing council at numerous tourism bodies, there's been steady resolutions coming out of the groups there with respect to the federal government, the CTC, and they're cutting their budget for tourism by $20 million and completely pulling all of their marketing out of the United States. Our major market used to be United States, probably 60 to 70% U.S. visitors. When the passport issue came in, which in my opinion was a direct result to try to keep the U.S. citizens on the other side of the border, and was successful. After the passports came in, it dried up substantially the U.S. visitors. However, it was down to about 20, 22%, 28%. I understand now, and talking to some of the stakeholders, that it is coming back slowly, and some of them reporting upwards to 45%. So to see this move by the federal government to cut out all the marketing in the United States is a disaster in their mind, and when we're not getting the manufacturing jobs and losing them, as a matter of fact, we have a unique opportunity here in this community, and we should be screaming loud and clear that this is a move that directly affects us and our jobs and our opportunities. So I would like to make a motion that we send our comments to our Member of Parliament federally, and certainly the Minister of Tourism federally, and the Prime Minister, and see if we can't get some reconsideration of at least keeping the markets in the United States and marketing that particular effort. So everybody's talking about the same thing. They've all passed resolutions at the different BIAs, and I'd like to bring that forward, and I would so move.
Okay, moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Morocco, that we send a letter to our MP and at the federal level in Ottawa to petition them to reinstate the money for marketing our biggest customers.
Yeah, Your Worship, I'd just like to speak to that. I have to say that I echo Councillor Thompson's action there. I mean, it's been years and years of money that the CTC government has been pouring into the U.S. to market our destination. I mean, I think it's just totally ridiculous at this point to pull out and say that we're not going to go after those markets. And I have seen an increase in the U.S. visitors to Niagara. Actually, it's interesting because I just received a contact from Oklahoma with a small group that's coming up, an incentive that I'm going to be working on a project. They're staying here. I mean, we have to really keep pushing for them to promote this destination, and Canada have a presence in the United States. So I support that motion, second that motion.
Yeah. And it should be worth noting, Mr. Felicetti and I were in Ottawa, and we were working to set up a meeting that we could meet with the feds, and we did meet with Rob Nicholson about a week or so ago, and we brought this up with him as well to let him know what a huge mistake it is. It's great we're marketing the rest of the world, but you don't ignore or pass over your biggest customer right next door to us. So so we're aware of it, but this is great. A petition unanimously approved by this council will help give us more thrust to draw more attention to this lack of funding. So if there's no other discussion to this motion, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, and that's unanimous, and that's a great message to send. New business, some other new business around the table? Okay, Councillor Pietrangelo?
Your Worship, it's time to talk once again about the extension of Thurlstone Road into the Gale Center. The record of site condition that we were, last we knew, it was supposed to be done by the end of April. So I'm wondering whether or not, first of all, there's an update on the record of site condition.
Mr. Holman?
Mr. Mayor, we asked for a status report the first or second week of May, and we're told that we should be expecting something around the end of this month, which is, of course, this week. So we've yet to hear about the filing of the record of site condition for the site.
I can tell you that I also had a discussion with the local MOE regional office, and they too said we're close. And he did say 80% of the time it has to get sent back one more time because it's missing some information, but they felt that we were very, very close to having that done. So we should just be weeks away. To that point, Councillor?
Yeah, I don't believe it, and I don't believe there's going to be a resolution. I would like the staff to come back in with a report for an alternate entrance into the Gale site. And
I think that's where Councillor Pietrangelo was taking the conversation.
Well, we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with the staff. When was the last time we talked about it? 2 months ago, 3 months ago? Huh?
2 months ago?
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. I just think we have to put these people on the spot to say, you know, either this is going to happen, because even though you get the MOE situation ironed out, there's still negotiations between the lessee and the property owner, and I don't see a lot of movement there, so anyway. Take your best shot.
Councillor Pietrangelo?
Geez, thanks. Yeah, Your Worship, I guess one thing I was going to mention is next month is the 3-year anniversary of the opening of the Gale Center. And I don't know that we're any closer now than we were 3 years ago to having this road open. I mean, I know that the record of site condition has been filed. We've been told it's coming, but it's been a long time coming, Your Worship. I mean, I guess what I'm wondering is what's the process once the record of site condition comes? That's what I want to know.
That's a great question. So once, and just to remind everyone, we have come a long way because we've never had the record of site condition. And that's the first thing, because the MOE, until they give you that, you can't put a shovel in the ground, you can't do a thing. And we're almost there with that. That opens up the door for activity. So now, Mr. Holman, Councilor Pietrangelo wants to know, once we get that, which will happen in the next weeks, then what happens? Yeah.
Well, the next steps would be then to acquire the land in which the road has to be constructed, and in order to do that, we would have to get permission from the owners and the lessee to give us the rights to the property. And that's kind of where the conflict exists. But if we're able to achieve that, the design is essentially completed. There's a couple more additions to the approvals that need to be topped up, and however, it seems to be that the ownership of the land is the stumbling block in moving ahead.
And Councillor Pietrangelo would also ask me the status on the hydro lands that we have to go across. So do we have an update on the hydro lands?
My discussions with Mr. Brothers this morning was that we're about 95% of the way there. We've got an estimate of cost to acquire that land. There's just a couple of minor details that need to be worked out. But that should not be on the critical path for us.
Okay. And also I should mention too, Councillor, that SciTech has made it clear that they've already agreed to deed us the land on their end. So they've made it clear, as soon as we have the MOE, they will deed us the land. However, the last step will be working with the lessee on the land. Yes, Councillor?
Your Worship, I want to continue on in the sense that I guess one of the questions I have is how long are we going to wait for the region to build this road before we start to look at alternate pathways into the Gale Centre? How long are we going to wait?
Mr. Holman, do you want to address that?
Well, you've given us direction at a previous council meeting to investigate alternative accesses, and we've had some discussions with some of the property owners that would be involved. We haven't got anything conclusive yet, but we are trying to accommodate an additional access to the Gale Centre in the redesign of Stanley Avenue between Thoroldstone Road and Valley Way, which is a project that the region will be constructing by the spring of next year. So there are provisions for it. I would say, the short answer is the spring of next year would be the key decision time as to when that access gets put into the Gale Centre if we're not able to achieve the Thoroldstone Road extension.
But that's when we start construction, so we need a decision before then, I would take it.
Yeah, I think that's the first step, is to find out whether or not the lessee is willing to provide us access to that land.
Yes, Councillor.
Yeah, Your Worship, and I think Mr. Holman alluded to what I was going to say next, is that the region hired a consultant to do the design work for the reconstruction of Stanley Avenue from Thoroldstone all the way down to Valley Way. I spoke on it about a month ago, saying that what the residents wanted out there was 2 lanes rather than 4 lanes, and a bunch of other things, no curb-facing sidewalks, the trees remaining on the cemetery side, et cetera, and bike lanes included. When I got the notes back from the consultant, one of the things that's in there is there's an intersection for an alternate access to the Gale Centre. So there's already, Your Worship, in the design stage, works for an alternate access. I guess my question then is, what then would become of the extension that would go into the Gale Centre and the funding that the city has set aside and the funding that the region has set aside if an alternate access goes ahead?
So I'll ask Mr. Holman that.
Well, that would have to be a decision of council. The region of Niagara has completed environmental assessment that identified the preferred alternative to be the Thoroldstone Road extension, which, as you know, doesn't go completely through to Victoria Avenue. It stops just past the Gale Centre. A part of the construction of that road involves the extension of services, which the city is contributing. I think we've set aside somewhere in the neighborhood of $2.5 million towards. Ultimately, if that option is not pursued, we can look at reallocating our funding towards the other alternative. But we can't really answer that question until we know for sure what the region's position is, what SciTech's position and the lessee's position is with respect to obtaining the road.
Yeah, Councillor.
Your Worship, I guess to finish it off, I mean, the PIC is going to be happening again in June, and those plans are going to be unveiled to the public. So the public is going to be able to see those plans, I think, in the 3rd week of June or something like that. So it'd be nice to know from the region exactly what they're planning on doing before that, Your Worship. And I don't know whether or not I can pass that on to staff or leave that with you.
I know Mr. Holman's been meeting on a regular basis with Mr. Brothers at the region to move this forward, and everyone wants to move it forward. It's been identified as a dangerous intersection. I get more complaints about how bad the road is and how frustrating they have to drive around the arena. But I see what Councilor Pietrangelo is saying is, if we did end up being, if we were forced to build an alternative entrance, how likely are we that we would extend Thorold Stone Road? Would we do both? How likely would we be to do both?
Mr. Mayor, I think we want to keep both options open. You know, in the event that the temporary road isn't used as a driveway to the Gale Center, you know, we could still use it as part of our trail system. So we'd want to keep options open until the region withdraws the funding for that program.
Okay, Councilor Ioannoni?
I guess I'd ask you, how long do you call a temporary road temporary? Because that's your access. I mean, people have to be watching us wondering what we're doing. If Councillor Pietrangelo has raised this numerous times here, Councillor Thompson raised it, so if in my mind, it all comes down to the owner and the leasee trying to come to some sort of an agreement. Is that the bottom? Okay, well, hell will freeze or the fall will freeze over before we're going to get that any time before the next term. Like, let's be realistic here. We all say the same thing. So instead of sitting here having this debate or this conversation over and over and over, why don't we give a notice of motion that if there is not something accomplished by our July meeting, this council, and I'm going to make a notice of motion. I will put a motion forward in our July meeting that if an agreement hasn't come between the owners and the leasee, that this council will put a motion on the floor to go with the alternate route and redirect the monies to do so. Because I think we've talked here so long, nobody listens anymore. I do not believe the two entities listen anymore. We've let it go 3.5 years. We bring it up every time. Councillor Pietrangelo is vigilant. So let's do a notice of motion. You got to July. If you're not going to do it by July, boys, the city will step in and do it. Because those residents of 4th Avenue are saying, please show us some leadership and fix this problem. Or we're going to be in another term, and whatever council of the day is sitting here, they're going to be having the same debate.
Absolutely. Councilor Morocco?
I second the motion.
Okay. We'll still bring that forward in July. Yes, Councilor? Okay. Councilor Thompson?
I don't think we're looking at the roadway, the small picture. Really, it has to do with the big picture, the whole property. You're not going to put a roadway in there just for the Gale Center. The owner and also the lessee are interested in the development of the rest of the property. And it's millions of dollars to clean it up, and the only way they're going to be supportive if there is some agreement on who's going to clean it up. And that's what the problem is. You're not going to get anybody putting a road in just to be nice for us to service the Gale Center. That's not the objective. The big picture is who's cleaning up the property. That's what your problem is.
Well, you know what the MOE made clear to us, they said that with the record of site condition, A, we'll be able to put in the road. B, all the lands to the south, they will be able to build currently as is, slab on grade. They said they wouldn't allow basements to be built, but they would allow warehousing, car dealerships, parking lots, anything that's slab on grade. They could be, yep, just without a basement. And they made it clear that it's no more contaminated than any other road in Ontario with road salts. And that they said that it's good, it will be good to go with this record of site condition based on all their testing over the last number of years, that they could build on it. And the other thing is, as we put in the road, we put in the water, the sewer, and it becomes developable. And then you just have to tap in. So it certainly raises the value of the developability of that land, if that's such a word. Councillor?
Oh, I'm going to tell you, the people on 4th Avenue don't care about that. The people who are trying to get out on the night of at the end of a hockey game, they don't care about that. They don't care if the lessee can make more money by developing on that land. we made them a promise. We said we're going to open that arena and we are going to get an alternate road in there for you. This is only temporary. Well, we're almost 4 years later. So they don't care about the rest of this. Anybody trying to get in to get their kids to hockey, they don't care about that bigger picture. We promised them something that we haven't been able to accomplish. So I'm not sure what the exact date is in July. So my notice of motion that was seconded was on that date in July. I will bring a motion forward that says we do the alternate route. So I would suggest staff know what alternate route we're looking at. I think you have a few ideas already. And that will be the motion we put forward that night. Either, I was going to make a decision, because if they don't, we will. And that's what people want us to do.
And I agree with that. And that's what the message has been clear. One way or the other, we're building a road. The only question is where it's going to be. And hopefully the preferred solution, as Councillor Pietrangelo always said, is the Roadstone Road. That's the preferred. But if it doesn't work out, it'll be somewhere else.
Well, then
Yeah.
July, we can give them an absolute decision, can't we?
I think we could. Councillor Pietrangelo?
Your Worship, I can appreciate where Councillor Iannone is going in the sense that she wants to put a motion on the floor in July. However, the record of site condition is not completed yet. That's the question that I keep asking on this issue is the record of site condition completed? Even if the region wanted to go out and build the road tomorrow,
right,
and they had agreement from the landowner and the leasee, they could not do so until the record of site condition is completed. So I can appreciate the councillor saying, that's it, I'm putting a motion on the floor, it has to be done by this date, but it's the MOE that we're waiting for. Once that record of site condition comes back, it's pretty clear right now, I mean, in my eyes anyway, and I'm sure that in the rest of the council's eyes, that there's already another plan to move forward with another roadway. I've already stated that it's in a design that's going to come out to the public this month in June, and everyone's going to be able to view the reconstruction of Stanley Avenue. There's going to be an alternate road there into the Gale Center. So I guess, Your Worship, if the region doesn't want that road to go in and they want the Throwstone Road extension to get it to go through, then they're going to take the ball from here on in. Otherwise, our plans are already in the works. It's already in the design.
Correct.
So there's really no need for a motion. I mean, the plan is already there.
Councillor?
So I disagree with Councillor Pietrangelo. I think the residents want to see us make a decision. They want to know what date we're going to make the decision. And I'm not talking about the record of site condition, because to me that's minor. You then have to have the owners and SciTech come to some sort of agreement. I mean, they hold the cards. They don't have to come to any sort of agreement until the big picture is looked at. I think it's incumbent upon us to make a decision. I know what, and I only said July because you said the Public Information Center is in June. So the residents will have had an opportunity to see it. Staff will have had an opportunity to get the feedback back to us. And if the record of site condition was supposed to be to us at the end of at the end of April, and now it's the end of May, we're going to have gone through the end of June and almost the end of July before that motion comes before this council. If it's not here then, they're in seriously no rush to help us out in any way, shape, or form. It's been 3.5 years, and that should have been here a long time ago.
I hate to interrupt important business.
I'm sorry, we're in the middle of a council meeting. I'm sorry, sir. We're in the middle of a council meeting. I'm sorry, we're in the middle of a council meeting. There will be no other discussion. I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to leave. No, you don't have that minute. You're going to leave right this minute. Are you going to be escorted out, sir?
Dean, I agree to this.
Thank you very much for coming out.
That those families were not evicted. Those families were evicted. 1 minute of your time. That's all. And just so that Connie Toplinski here, he thinks this is funny. He thinks this is funny. 1 minute. And we're going to read and then hand off an eviction notice to Dean Iafrida. This is the type of council that we have here in Niagara Falls. She's going to give you an eviction notice. Okay?
Feels good, eh? Kicking people out on the street?
I can hold myself back. Are you guys still live? Stop. Are these guys still running? Are you still, you guys still running? 5 minutes? How about still running? Well, we can finish up.
We have a motion on the
Yeah, we
floor.
have a motion. I know, but our clerk's gone, or
Okay.
acting CEO's gone. Well, come on, we're adjourned for a few minutes.
15 minutes.
No, we're gonna adjourn right now for 15 minutes. Okay. All right.
You know the people that
Yeah. That's 2 years ago, isn't it? Yeah.
motion, or I'm sorry, there was a notice of motion brought forward by Councillor Iannoni that at our July 9th meeting, we're expecting that there be a decision made because on the roadway into the Gale Center, because by then we should have a record of site condition. By then the
Make a deal or get out.
yes, and Councillor Pietrangelo, and that'll be done in June. They are going to complete the
Public information.
yeah.
Your Worship, there's another public information session for the residents dealing with the Stanley Road reconstruction and the preferred design that's going forward. Again, I think part of what I'm trying to say is these consultants that are doing the design for the reconstruction of Stanley Avenue, they're hired by the region. They're already putting in their plans an alternate access entranceway into the Gale Center. They're hired by the region. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, politely, is there seems to already be plans in the works for an alternate access to go into the Gale Center. And it's the consultants that are putting it forward, again, paid for by the region. The region continues to tell us that they're going to be going forward with the Toad Road extension. At some point, Your Worship, one of them is going to have to go forward and one of them's not. Whether that, has a drop-dead date of July or not, I guess remains to be seen. All I was saying is I'd like to see the record of site condition come back first. The public information session, though, will be going forward in June.
Well, nice thing, we've got a number of benchmarks coming forward in the very near future. Councillor Iannoni?
And quite frankly, it's not just for the region to get off their backsides, it's just for SciTech and the leasing, because that's who's dragging their feet here. So I understand Councillor Pietrangelo's point of view, but I also think, you know what, we've dragged our feet too, and we're letting people drive our need for that road, and it's time that we drive our need for that road. And if we can make a decision in July after a public information center, and by the way, if there's no record of site condition by then, someone's got to ask the question, who's dragging it out and for what reason? Because it's taken far too long now. So either make a decision or get out of the game, and council will do it themselves.
Councillor Pietrangelo?
Yeah, and just on the point of sort of us dragging our feet, I don't know if I really share that view. I don't think we did.
No, we haven't.
Our consultant, from the very start, advised the region that they needed a record of site condition. They continued to say that they didn't need a record of site condition. And then when they went to the ministry, they were told that they needed a record of site condition. We tried to get them, Your Worship, for a very long time to even file for the record of site condition, and it was only, I believe, last year that they actually filed for it. So again, we're dealing with things that are out of our control because we continue to ask them to be doing things. If we could do them, Your Worship, I'm sure that they already would have been done by now.
Okay. All right, so we do have the notice of motion coming forward July the 9th. Other new business, Councillor Maves?
Well, no, I wanted to just possibly ask regarding the record of site condition. For an alternate route, would we also need a record of site condition for an alternate route if that should happen? Like, for instance, if you're looking at some of those areas around where the railroad tracks used to come in and out, I'm sure those trains were loaded with chemicals and whatnot. Do we need that property inspected as well?
Acting CAO?
I think the short answer is we would have to do environmental audit on the property to understand what's there. But for what we're proposing, which is simply a driveway, I'm not certain that we would need to have a record of site condition for those lands.
So if you just put a road on there, as long as there's nothing coming up from underneath, we've got no problem? No,
it would be dependent on the findings of the environmental audit, which is a much simpler process.
Thank you. Other new business, Councillor Morocco?
Oh, sorry, I think it was following up on that.
No, not on that.
Okay, sorry. Yes, Your Worship. I've actually had a conversation a couple of different times, in the last one just the other day, and I said that I would bring this issue up at council. It seems to be a lot of the residents are talking about economic development in our city and what actually is coming forward. And they said it's great that we have tourism and it's thriving, and that's great, but what else is actually helping or happening in our city and in the region? And they said with all the different municipalities and economic development departments out there, They said maybe you can go back and ask our economic development department to see if there's a monthly report or what's going on, is there any projects in their works, and what projects maybe have come forward that we've lost and where did we lose them to, as well as they asked the mayor too about the region, what's happening at the region in the way of economic development, because they said they are looking for other jobs, and a lot of these women, they said these roundtables actually said that their children are going to college and university and actually ending off not coming back to Niagara. So it's just, they're just looking to see what's going on in the Niagara region. So I said I would just bring it forward to them on that part. I know that there is an economic development report that comes out, but it's periodic. I think, is it once a year or is it every 2 years? Sorry,
yeah, every year. Every year we have the report come out, and I can tell you right now that we do have a number of irons in the fire on economic development. Everything that's in our strategic plan. I direct
it's not tourism related. I think that's what
yeah.
they're asking for.
Well, I think I direct people to our strategic plan on the city's website that we all endorsed 2 years ago, and on that it outlines everything we're pursuing: post-secondary education, you know, the hospital, the coach, all the different things that we're doing to keep youth and retain youth, and that's absolutely a focus. Matter of fact, I was at St. Gabriel Lallemand School today. I was explaining to them that we're planting trees today that those kids are going to get to enjoy. That's a metaphor for what we're doing, but we have irons in the fire for the city. It's a go-forward plan, and it's a long-term vision. So for the broad strokes on the website, everything's posted there, and we're working with economic development right now on a number of things. That, like you say, not just tourism related, manufacturing related. It's surprising how much manufacturing we actually have in the region, but we've kind of lost sight of it.
Right.
I had a great meeting the other day with Salad Steel about his expansion plans and whatnot, and not long ago with ES Fox, and the same thing. So we do regular corporate visits to see what they need for it to be successful. We're working on a hydro rebate program right now to encourage more industry. Like, as I mentioned, more post-secondary education. So no question about it that we're through economic development working on a think tank, because the region definitely kind of lost its way for a while. I think we've recognized what's wrong, and we're going in the right direction.
Great. I greatly appreciate that. I'm only bringing this forward because I was asked to, so I'm sure they're watching. They appreciate your comments. Thank you, and I'll direct them to the website.
Yeah, it's a good start, and we're happy to meet with anyone as well. Councillor Pietrangelo.
Your Worship, another issue that I wanted to bring up was Metrolinx, and I know you know about the big move, and the big move is all about, I guess, increasing transit rail service from Hamilton to the GTA, and right now Metrolinx is looking at raising $50 billion to pay for the big move and all of the projects that they have going forward over the next 10 years. $50 billion, it's an astronomical amount. I know that GO Transit is funded by the province, but I think there comes a certain point where it's difficult to ask for the entire province to pay for those improvements when it's that much money. I know we asked the province to help us out with our own people mover system. They gave us $25 million. We could have built, I guess, 2,000 people movers for the amount that they're asking for, which is the $50 billion. $50 billion, I believe, was the amount that became part of the infrastructure stimulus fund from the federal government to house the entire country of Canada when we ran into the recession in 2009. $50 billion is an outrageous amount. I don't believe, Your Worship, that it's worthwhile to ask every person in every region in Ontario to pay for that. And I'd like us to go on record basically telling the government that I know that right now Metrolinx is making recommendations to the provincial government that have to deal with funding tools to raise the $50 billion. And I'd like it, Your Worship, to be specific to the GHTA. So any revenue tools that they look at in the form of only those that are in the GHTA, and I would so make the motion.
Okay, so we've got a motion from Councillor Pietrangelo that with the Metrolinx plan going forward, that we notify the province that any expansion that's going to happen in the GTA and the Hamilton, Greater Hamilton area be funded by those areas. In other words, don't ask Niagara to pay for the extra funding through Hamilton and in the GTA. So that's the motion that we have right now, seconded by. Is that you, Councillor Gates? Second. Okay, second by Councillor Gates. Is there any discussion to the motion? Okay, so we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, that's approved. Councillor, yes, Councillor.
Lastly, Your Worship, and I know it just jogged my memory because I see that they're coming up on the agenda here. A couple months ago, you were out at my school on McLeod Road, and I showed you a point in the road where people cross from the driveway onto McLeod Road and then go across the street to the Boys and Girls Club. Your Worship, it would be so simple as to put a little walkway from the sidewalk across the ditch so that you can reach McLeod Road, and then people can go over onto the Boys and Girls Club property. It would alleviate those, and I see them all the time, in wheelchairs or wheel devices, from having to go on McLeod Road because they go off the sidewalk at that point so that they can access the first driveway to the Boys and Girls Club. Whereas if you actually want to access the driveway, you have to take the sidewalk all the way west up to St. Michael Avenue and then cross and then go back towards the Boys and Girls Club. Most people just take the shortcut, go on the McLeod Road and go across. All we really need, Your Worship, is some type of walkway from the sidewalk to the road, right where the driveway on the east side of the Boys and Girls Club comes out, and then people could go across the road there. And I don't know if you need a motion for a report back. I know it's a, I don't know if it'd be a regional responsibility, but it would be insofar as putting a culvert, much like we did for the at the Millennium Trail when the manor asked for that over there, so that the residents, exactly, on Oakwood, so that the residents could access the trail.
Okay, the Millennium Manor. The now, Mr. Holman, do you, Mr. Clerk, maybe are you aware? Is there already a motion out there for in this regard? No. No. Okay, so then you'll make that motion that staff come back with a report on connecting, going across Thorold's or McLeod Road, connecting the St. Mike's basically driveway.
Sidewalk, not our driveway.
Sidewalk.
It's the sidewalk, because they leave the sidewalk. Sorry, Your Worship, I should stand up, but they leave the sidewalk and they go onto the road because they don't want to go all the way up to the next intersection, cross the road, and then come back to the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, because then they got to go across the ditch.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
So what they do is they go on the St. Michael High School driveway, and they go onto McLeod Road so that they can get into the first driveway of the Boys and Girls Club right away.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to have a walkway there from the sidewalk that leads into the first driveway of the Boys and Girls Club so that they don't go on the road. Understandable? Okay, thank you.
Okay, if you have any questions, just give them a call. Okay, so we've got a motion by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Carrio. What's that? Our Councillor. Sorry, you guys look so much alike. By Councillor, he'll move.
I know where he left it, yeah.
Oh, sure. Moved by Councillor Pietrangelo, seconded by Councillor Carrio. All those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Is there any other new business? Oh. All right, it's time to start our public meeting. Perfect timing. You guys timed that right. All right, we've got, first up, is National Access Awareness Week. And we've got members of the Mayor's Disability Advisory Committee who are here today. And I'm going to now ask our city clerk if he would please introduce this next segment.
Thank you, Your Worship. As many of you know, the last week of May, beginning of June is National Access Awareness Week, and usually we take this opportunity at this time of year to have members of our committee here, and this evening, of course, in the front row, we do have members of our committee who I'll introduce. Our chair, of course, Paisley Janbury Poole, Ms. Sandy Bird, Angela Dumel, Janet Jessup, and Hilda Fair. Hilda's been here before on transit issue, and I should just make a mention that Hilda will be receiving the Joe Dineley Commemorative Award tomorrow from the Ontario March of Dimes, which is for exceptional leadership and commitment to furthering the accessibility and integration of persons with disabilities in our community. Well deserving. Some of our other she's in good company. One of our other committee members, Gary Taylor's won in the past. Dan Bowman's won. So it's a very big honor, and we're very proud of Hilda. She's a real spark plug, as many of you know. We also like to honor organizations, whether they be businesses or public sector organizations in our community that we feel have gone above and beyond as far as making their facilities accessible. Although there's certain things that are mandated under law, we always like to look for those special touches that businesses or organizations do, and we try to recognize organizations or businesses in our community for that. And the committee felt that this year the Boys and Girls Club of Niagara were deserving of the honor. As you know, their facility on McLeod Road, which is relatively new, is just a beautiful facility. And some of the comments that the committee made that led them to honoring Boys and Girls Club were push buttons on all of the bathrooms, which often gets neglected. The one thing about that facility is it's very visible inside. You go inside and it's very open concept. There aren't any barriers. Everything's in the open. You can see where you're going, even if you're, even if you're just slightly visually impaired. A lot of light, which makes for a very enjoyable experience. There's no obvious barriers. There's no corners, things to negotiate that make people in assistive devices have difficulty. The parking stalls, the designated parking stalls are wide. They're in a perfect location. We've found through our committee recently that often when a new building is designed, it's almost a natural tendency for the closest parking to be allocated to staff. Like, oh, let's put the staff parking as close to the door. Obviously, our committee prefers if the handicapped or the designated parking is closest to the door, and they did a great job with 3 very amply sized spots, because now, as you know, a lot of people have these side-loading vans that for their assistive devices, their scooters, and those spots have plenty of room for people to access. And then finally, one thing that I think gets short shrift in any discussion of accessibility is it's not just the facility that makes a place accessible, it's also the staff and the people. And I probably shouldn't say this, but some of our members were recently at the new hospital, and they had some misgivings with some of the things at the new hospital in St. Catharines, but they also said that most of the staff there seemed miserable. In contrast with the Boys and Girls Club, where the staff is very helpful and very accommodating, and that goes a long way to making a facility truly accessible. So we have a little certificate in the front, Your Worship, and I know we've got Joanne Turner, we've got Bill Walters, we've got the Wallaces in the back, and I guess if you want to bring them up and give them the certificate and take some pictures, and then I've got a couple of other orders of business after that.
Okay, that's great. Well, and Mr. Arifida, as our member, council's member on the youth, or at the Mayor's Disability Committee, I would ask you to join me.
Sure.
All right. So come on up here, please, members of both committees for recognition. Someone's got a camera.
I don't know if any of the committee members want to come up as
Yeah,
well.
committee members, anyone who wants to join us? Only when she takes off this thing, hey, face. Well, call it tight. You guys got to pull nice and tight. Now, gotta get the dog in too. What's the dog's name?
Valor.
Valor?
Yes.
That'll be on Facebook in about 2 seconds. And we've got, hold on before. And I'll read this certificate on behalf of City Council. City of Niagara Falls Mayor's Disability Advisory Committee presents the Patrick Cummings Award of Excellence in recognition of improving barrier-free accessibility is hereby granted to the Boys and Girls Club of Niagara for efforts toward improving accessibility in the City of Niagara Falls. Congratulations and thank you very much. And we'll do one more picture. Come on, closer. Tight you got. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much and congratulations. Well done. Oh, did you want to say something, sir? Did you want to say something? I didn't give you a chance to say anything. That's okay. You guys have your conversation. Let's find you ready. You want to say something? You want to say something? Joanne? Maybe Joanne on behalf of...
Yes, all I wanted to say is we were certainly inspired by our clients at the club, and it was a pleasure to make the building as successful as it is.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
Good job.
Yeah. So, Your Worship, just a few other items. I should mention that on June 7th at lunchtime, we're having our annual barbecue, although it's about a week after National Access Awareness Week. It's something that the committee does on an annual basis. So obviously all of council's encouraged to attend in front here at City Hall. Also, we have two other orders of business. One is a report which is approving a policy that's required of us under the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. Also to forward that our annual plan, Mr. Jason McLean in our HR department, who is the other staff liaison on the committee, did most of the grunt work on that. And also more of an internal direction. We do a lot of these things related to accessibility on almost an ad hoc basis, and I think to move these issues even forward and more proactively, we're looking at maybe formalizing a staff team to deal with these issues and maybe meet on a collective basis more regularly so we can tackle some of these issues proactively. So those are the recommendations related to the report.
Okay, so we're looking for a mover by Councillor Carrier, seconded by Councillor Gates. Any discussion of the motion? Call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, and that's unanimous.
And then finally, just the proclamation declaring this week as National Access Awareness Week.
Okay, moved by Councillor Gates, seconded by Councillor Carrier. All those in favor? That's approved unanimously. Okay, thank you. Last deputation presentation, I'd call forward Steve Ludzik and his posse. Maybe you can introduce all of your team. Tim Hauser, welcome.
Thank you. How are you guys?
Better now that you're here.
Yeah. Bart, how are you? I wanted to introduce, before I get going, Rick Five, who will be the newest resident of Niagara Falls. I don't know if anybody knows that, but...
Yeah, all right, welcome.
Not yet, but soon. He was a teammate of mine in Chicago, and obviously everybody knows him from this area, from being the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs and scoring 50 goals a few years in a row. Did you, Rick? 3 years in a row.
But it was counted. He's waiting for his taxi center before he moves.
Yeah, you got that right, Vince. Absolutely. 2 weeks ago, we announced that we're opening up the Steve Ludzik Parkinson's Clinic at the Hotel du Shaver. And all funds are coming from the Steve Ludzik Celebrity Roast, which I know you guys, hi Victor, which everybody was involved in last year. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that was happening. It's Friday, August the 9th at the Scotiabank Convention Center. And we're honoring Bobby Hull, who the Golden Jet, which I think will be tremendous. It's going to be a big draw. We hope we get 800 people to the convention center for the fair. I want to talk to Bobby Hull. I want to roast him, but I also want to talk to him because Bart Mays claims he taught him how to take a slap shot back in St. Catharines in the Stamikita. So I want to test that out, Bart. Councillor Bart, sorry. But anyways, I want to invite you guys. I'd like you guys, if you could, buy a table and support the cause.
I'm listening. I'm busy taking pictures.
That's okay. But anyways, I'll turn the mic over to Tim Hauser.
Outside the door right after.
What's that?
We'll do autographs outside the door.
Oh, excellent, excellent. We're in royalty. We're in hockey royalty here today. Every council's stunned. They don't know what to say. Yeah. Rick said $10 a picture. He'll sign, right? Said $10.
The pictures are...
Don't go away yet. Stay at the...
Yeah. So on behalf of the executive committee with Steve Ludzik, what we'd like to do is, I know I sent a package off to the mayor himself.
Yeah, and we all have a copy of it.
Yeah, and I want to thank the committee for taking a few minutes of your time to allow us to make this presentation. So the roast is on August the 9th. It's probably my mother calling because she sees me on TV. The roast is on August the 9th at the Scotiabank Convention Center. So what we'd like is, obviously, we'd like the city to participate again. The level obviously will have to be up to you to what you would like to participate in. This event is going to bring huge success to the city of Niagara Falls in the future. Last year we had a great success. We had just over 600 seats sold. This year we're shooting for the 750, 800 mark at the Scotiabank Convention Center. But we're going to have ongoing events throughout the year with other things just besides hockey. So on behalf of the committee, you know, I don't know if you have to put that to a vote or what you do in that case.
Okay, I've got Councillor Carrio. Did you want to?
Yeah, and just a quick comment, Your Worship. Many of us went to the event last year.
Yes.
Not only is it a great cause, but it's one of the best events I've ever been to.
Thank you.
I mean, everybody that walked out had a great time and looking to go back to something similar again. We had a ball.
Thank
Everyone
you.
had a ball.
We'd love having you.
And yeah, it was fantastic. It was really well done event.
And just in case people aren't aware, we donated a check to Shaver Hospital this past 2 weeks for $60,000, and we've already committed to another $60,000 for this upcoming year. Obviously, as we keep going forward, we want that to grow bigger and bigger and have it as a year-round program for them and not just 8 to 10 weeks. So that's the ultimate goal, is to make sure that people don't have to travel out of the area for Parkinson's, that they can get treatment right here in the local area.
Councillor Thompson?
I'm just going to second Carrio's motion for the table.
You making the motion then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion by Councillor Carrio, seconded by Councillor Thompson, that we take a table. Yes, Councillor Gates?
Yeah, first of all, I just like to say I played hockey with Tim. Never had the chance to play with Mr. Vide. I can't believe how big you are. You're a lot bigger than I thought you were.
I got my...
Ludzi, I was on your Facebook. I had to say this. Somebody had took your Viper golf bag, and I'm wondering if...
I haven't found that culprit yet. I'm looking for him.
Well, and that's why I'm standing up to say that. I think it's absolutely incredible that somebody would take some, because there's not a lot of Viper golf bags around.
Left-handed, too.
And left-handed. So hopefully, maybe somebody will hear this and get it back to you, because I'm sure it's a keeper for sure.
Bart's looking to say I didn't steal him.
What's that?
Bart's looking at me and say I didn't steal him.
No, but I mean, it's probably one of those bags that you probably cherish, because there's not a lot of Viper.
Well, it was my wife that put it on.
Yeah, she put it
I
on.
wouldn't have bothered.
It was your wife's, but hopefully you get it back
Yeah.
for sure.
I'd check Steve Larmer's closet. There's a quiet guy, but he gets things done. I'm sure he's got them.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Any other comments of council before we call the vote? Councilor Peter Angelo, you had a comment? Did you? No?
Rick wanted to say a couple words.
Okay. Well, let me first. Okay, go ahead, Rick. Step up. All right, we got a Leaf legend.
I just wanted to say that, well, first and foremost, one of the main reasons is my great friendship with Steve. We played together for a year and a half. Before that, we obviously battled against one another, and we had some good battles. And of course, I'm getting to that point in my life where my kids are gone, finally. And my wife and I are extremely excited about moving down to this area and enjoying Niagara Falls and the great people of this community, and continuing our friendship with Steve and Mary Ann, and also for myself to get involved and help Steve as much as I possibly can with his causes, because I think they're great. And I just can't wait till I get down here, and I don't know how long it's going to be, but it'll be in the next 3 or 4 months, and I'm extremely excited about it.
So is it true you're going to be renting Councillor Thompson's basement apartment?
Yeah, I may need to if my place isn't finished.
The upstairs garage.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, guys.
And we've also got, I know Pete Dichter here with you guys. You know, you guys, 4 guys with great hair. I don't know who's got the best hair between you guys, but you guys look great.
We get it done at the same place you get yours.
Yeah, Rick, I don't know, you and our clerk, I'm not sure. You guys got it going on, I'm not sure.
Well, he always said I had a 2-head, not a 4-head. I'm pretty happy about that.
We're going to call the vote then. Council, for our table at the event. All those in favor? Okay, and that's an easily unanimous event, and we're very excited. We'll help promote it through our social media here at the city and throughout the city, and any way we can be a success, we're going to do that to help.
Yeah, just one last thing. This Friday, May 31st, we have an official launch at Scotiabank Convention Center at noon, and I believe we've invited Councillor Thompson to be there on your behalf.
Yes, and he's going to be there as well. Is that right, Councillor?
So and if anybody else wants to attend that, come there around 11:30. It'll be from 12 to 1, and it'll be a great launch. Our event's almost 85% sold out right now, so.
Pretty incredible.
Our goal is to have it completely sold out by June 15th.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. And we look forward to your great column too, Steve. I've got to tell you, that's some of those one-liners you come up with are just beautiful.
They're natural.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Jim, there's no number on this.
Hey, fellas, is there a number? Hey, Pete, is there a number here for if someone wants to look into this?
There's no number.
There's no number or anything to contact on this.
685. Where is it? 1381.
It's right underneath the signature.
No, but
In the flyer.
On the flyer.
The flyer doesn't have a phone number to contact.
You put mine down. It's just call my cell 905-358-1329, and it's it'll be Tim Hauser just in case anybody doesn't know.
358-1329.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, Tim. Okay. All right, we're moving on to our public meeting portion of tonight's council meeting. We are at PBD 2013-39, and I would now ask our city clerk if he would introduce the next item on the agenda for tonight.
Your worship, a public meeting is now being convened to consider a proposed amendment to the city zoning bylaw to permit a home industry machine shop at 5038 Marshall Road. Notice was given by first-class mail in accordance with the Planning Act on Friday, April 26, 2013, and by posting a sign on the property in question. Anyone who wants notice of the passage of the zoning bylaw amendment to participate in any site plan process, if applicable, or preserve their opportunity to appeal to the Ontario Municipal Board shall leave their name on the sign-in sheets outside the council chamber.
Okay, thank you very much. Just before I ask you, Mr. Hurlovich, yes, Mr. Thompson, Councilor Thompson?
Yeah, this has been approved over the past many years. There's no objection. In fact, support from the neighboring property. Maybe we could have the Coles notes version of this so we can move on and we can make a motion.
Fat chance, but we'll try. Mr. Hurlovich, can you help us explain the purpose and reason for the bylaw amendment?
Okay, you can see the photograph of the machine shop on the screen. It's a 47-acre parcel of property at Marshall and Orr Road. The proposal is to add the machine shop as a permanent use, as an accessory to the agricultural and residential uses on the property. The property is zoned rural and conservation open space. You can see the house on the subject slide and the 3,600 square foot machine shop. Beside that, the south 22 acres of the property is farmed. The provincial policies say it's good general agriculture. Those policies allow for home industries when they're going to support agricultural operations. The scale of the home industry will be controlled and will ensure that it won't be able to separate in the future. The city zoning bylaw has this property zoned rural. The application is to permit this home occupation or home industry as on a permanent basis. It has been there on a temporary basis since 2000. So we will include a definition of home industry in the zoning bylaw. We'll also include a minimum building size of 3,600 square feet, which is the current size of the machine shop, and the property size will be 47 acres to ensure that the property, the industry can't be severed in the future. We found that it complies with the city's official plan, that it will provide for a permanent and appropriate home industry, and therefore staff is recommending that the zoning bylaw amendment application to allow this as a permitted use be passed. Those are the highlights.
Thank you, Mr. Hurlovich. Are there any questions of council? Okay, members of the public are advised that failure to make an oral or written submission at this public meeting will result in the Ontario Municipal Board dismissing any referral that it receives. Failure to sign the sign-in sheets will result in staff rejecting an appeal as per section 3419 of the Planning Act. Council will now hear from anyone other than the applicant who wishes to speak to the proposed bylaw amendment. Is there anyone here to speak to this other than the applicant? Seeing none? Council, yeah, basically. Council will now hear from the applicant or his or her representative. Is there anything that you had to add other than the report itself?
I don't think so.
Good decision, thank you. Are there any final questions of council? All right, seeing none, the public meeting with respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is now concluded. I'm looking for a motion. We've got a motion from Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Iannoni, that we approve the recommendation. All those in favor? And it's unanimously approved. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Well done. Anything else? And now the bylaws. The bylaws, how could we forget the bylaws?
Motion to introduce the bylaws first, and then we'll be doing it this way.
Motion from Councillor Pietrangelo, seconded by Councillor Maves, to give the bylaw first reading. All those in favor? Okay, it's approved.
Bylaws 2013-86 to 2013-93, read a first time.
Councillor Pietrangelo, seconded by Councillor Thompson for a second and third reading of the bylaws. All those in favor? It's approved.
Bylaws 2013-86 to 2013-93, read a second and third time and passed.
Adjournment.